And I grabbed his shirt as if to say, like, where are you going with my passport? And then all his guards just pulled the machine guns on me. And he was like, I'll take you there. And I was like, okay. Of course, there's no belts, but there was no floor. And so I got in and I'm like, oh, okay. Right. And one kid climbed over and the other kid. So I've got these 2 boys and in the back there's 5 men and a goat chained to a chainsaw.
Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast.
Please like, share and subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Cherrywood Podcast. We're here with Chloe Myers from the B Plan.
Hi everyone. Hi.
And before we start, we want to put a disclaimer out there. Anything we say in this podcast, because it is like walking on broken glass or a minefield basically, anything we say in this podcast about medication and our experiences are our opinions and our experiences. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Tell us about yourself, Chloe. We do know her a little bit, by the way. We know her.
Yeah. I'm a busy mum. And I run my own business in health and wellbeing, which I've had for the last 10 years. I started it in 2015. And checkered past, I guess. Done a lot of different things. Is checkered the wrong word? Does that sound negative?
I just thought you was into chess, to be honest.
Yeah, into chess. Lived down in Kent with my boys and, boy mum. I think that has its own curveballs when you have 2 boys. That's me, essentially.
You're a bit of a tomboy yourself, was you, growing up?
And in its own way, it was a good thing. And it was also really tough as well, because I'm in the middle. I've got my older brother, younger brother. Real tomboy. You were just talking about Star Wars figures.
I was going to say Star Wars.
I grew up on Star Wars. So when I sat in the bath and played with toys, it was the Bounty Hunter, Han Solo and Luke. I didn't play with Barbie dolls or anything.
You've got older brothers then, did you say?
So I'm in the middle. I'm middle child syndrome. It's classic.
Okay.
Through and through.
Okay.
And then I went to a primary school. I was one of the first girls to be admitted in there because it was an all-boys school originally. Wow. So I had me and one other girl, Amy, until I was 11. And then I went to an all-girls school, secondary.
But that was hard.
God, how was that?
Because it goes
traumatic.
Rachel. Goes to a bit of bitching then, doesn't it?
It was brutal. I found school, it's the best years of your life. No.
Terrifying.
I found it really hard. I came out a bit of a shell of myself
Also,
when I finished.
Did that segue onto like the complexion issues you're going to mention when you was at school? Did you get stick over that?
Do you know, I didn't actually. No, my skin, I think, when you're at secondary, a lot of people have got rubbish skin. Yeah. So, no, I kind of got away lightly with that. It was more, I had my curly hair, but my parents have poker straight hair. Nobody in my family had curly hair except my uncle who lives in Australia.
Right.
So mum used to brush it.
You must eat your crust. That's what my mum used to do.
Really?
If you eat your crust, you get curly hair.
Yeah.
I wonder where you got your curly
I love having my curls. Honestly, if you see my parents, it's the straightest, finest, thinnest hair. And then there's me with these curls. So I used to brush them. So I looked like Garth out of Wayne's World. My hair was this mullet of frizz. And so I had a phobia of having my hair down. So for my whole life up to 18, my hair was pulled back in a ponytail.
Right.
Yeah.
And the girls they knew, so they would pull the hairband out and throw it out the window. Oh. And I used to run around with holding my hair up like, I need a hairband in it, because I couldn't have it down because it was this frizz ball of hell. Then I learned how to do curly hair.
Where were your parents from? Where were they born?
My dad was born in Walthamstow, or he calls it Walthamstow.
Right.
And my mum was born in Tunbridge Wells, where I'm from.
Because you're quite hard, just by looking at you, to pinpoint where your family originates from.
What, with my accent?
No, with your look.
Oh, I used to get asked. No, because of my big lips and my brown eyes, people used to ask if I had sort of like Afro-Caribbean in my family, or no. And my mum, but they're both green-eyed, blue-eyed. Yeah, but my uncle has brown eyes, big lips, but. Right. Yeah, no.
That's that.
And I've got like olivey toned skin, and it's bizarre. Like, I was just on the way here listening to the radio, and that you can buy these for Christmas. The radio presenter got an ancestry testing kit.
Yes.
Maybe if I did that, I'd find out that my dad wasn't really my dad or something. And then actually, no, only joking, not really dad.
Cleaning or facilities management? Clearwater Kent is your trusted local expert. From roofs and driveway cleaning to fully facilitated management. Visit clearwaterkent.co.uk or call 01634 681 885.
Meet James Howard, a personal fitness coach based in Medway. James helps real people get stronger, fitter, and more confident without extreme diets or gimmicks. Visit jameshowardpt.co.uk or find James on Instagram at jameshowardpt to book your first session today.
Welcome to the Baseball Outlet. If you play baseball or softball in the UK, you know how hard it is to get the right gear. That's why we're here. We've been helping players across the country for years. Come and see us in store, visit us online, or give us a call.
Need stunning video or photography for your big day, or even your business? Cherrywood Production delivers award-winning results with a personal touch. From weddings to promotional content, we turn your vision into reality. Visit cherrywoodpro.com today. Your memories, our passion.
But no, I do look really different to my family.
Well, you've pleased us both because I'm a Star Wars lover and she's a Wayne's World lover.
Yeah.
So.
I love Wayne's. I showed my daughter and she was like, "What the hell is this? Never let me watch this again."
Brilliant.
Didn't get it.
It's so funny.
We were crying.
We went to a 90s conference, like a conference where the fancy dress theme was 90s.
Brilliant.
And there's not a lot of men in my industry doing what I do. And these two guys came in as Wayne's World.
Oh,
and I just stopped on the dance floor and I was like, oh my God, I've got a photo. I went over and I was like, I need a photo with you guys. They looked, I mean, it was epic. They looked so good. Yeah.
So how did you find a girls' school? You said it wasn't the nicest. Did you find it a massive reality shock going from two girls to boys with the bitchy and... Because
I just never had a hard time like that before.
Yeah. I find boys punch it out, they're best friends within an hour. Girls, it will drag on, because I went to an all-girls school, and the bitchiness just drags on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's
well, boys will say it to your face. You know,
Yeah.
they'll just be mean to your face.
Yeah.
The girls, it was just a minefield of... And I you know, in a way, I was my own worst enemy as well, because having gone from a primary school where I only had one other girl, so we were just best friends, and it was her and me against everything.
Yeah.
When you go to the all-girls school, you just want that one best friend.
Yeah.
And Mum kept saying to me, you know, just get on with everyone, have a big group. And I was like, but I just want a best friend. I was obsessed. So I used to be a bit, almost like, I guess I was a bit needy, or a bit like, am I still your best friend? Oh, it was awful. And then by the time I got to about year 10 or something, that had been battered out of me. And I just kind of, and it was weird. It's really set me up for life though, because it makes me a real champion of women and very positive. I can't stand negative kind of bitching and talking behind people's backs. I always say, if you're looking down on someone, it's to lift them up. It's not, I can't do neg. I don't do that. But also, like, it meant that I got on with everybody. So I was friends with the naughty girls. I was friends with the geeks. Yeah. I was friends with the goths. I just kind of got on with everybody. I floated around people.
I got on with everyone. Yeah.
But it also meant that
it's a gift.
I was a bit lonely as well, I guess. I did struggle.
Because if someone quite posh comes onto the podcast, then I'll be quite posh. But then,
are you saying I'm a bit posh?
No. You're middle of the ground. You're middle of the ground.
Okay.
And then if someone like comes on who's a bit cockney and all that, then I'm effing and blinding. I just adapt to people, but I don't just do it in the podcast.
Do you adapt? If I was Australian, would you start taking on a slight Australian? Yeah.
Let's go and get a chocolate milkshake down the diner.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I start taking on accents. Within an hour or so of talking to them, I start the little. I can't help it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Wow. So you've come through high school, well, secondary school. Secondary school's fine. Where did you start your career then?
Well, that's how I got into travel. So I did travel for years. I was so miserable at school. My final exam was history A-level. I put the pen down. Mum was waiting outside the reception of the school, and I jumped in the Volvo. We had a Volvo estate, and she drove me to the airport, and I got on a plane to America, and that's where I started.
Blimey.
I was desperate to get out. I was so unhappy at school. And I'd had my heart broke. You know, I'd been my first love, and that had split up. And then the next weekend, he went to a party with all my friends.
Yeah.
And then they all started snogging each other when I wasn't there. It was horrible. I was so heartbroken. And there was a whole loyalty thing. And I just found it so hard. So I was just like, I'm out of here. So I went, and my first 3 months, I went to Chicago, and I worked with cerebral palsy adults.
Right.
And I worked at a camp, and with these amazing, I'm still in touch with some of the campers. And I did that for 3 months, which when you're 18, I'm a summer baby as well, so I was just 18.
Yeah.
And I got on a flight, went to New York, we did a week's orientation, and then I went to Chicago, Illinois, and I spent 12 weeks there, made a lifelong friend, Lisa, from Sweden. And then together afterwards, we travelled back to New York for a couple of weeks. I came home for 3 months, earned $4,000, working my arse off, doing 20 hours work a day. Saved enough, and then I got on a flight and went to Australia, and I did 9 months out there, and then Tonga, Samoa, and then came back and got to university and did 3 years there. But I travelled constantly. That's when I started Africa, when I was at uni. I did my first sort of 3 month solo trip around Africa. And
how was Africa?
It started. Africa was
Here
great.
Here we go again.
So they know this story. Africa was great. The first trip I did Kenya to Cape Town, and I did like a big sort of overland trip. So I just arrived on my own, met a group of people.
When you said arrived on your own,
Australian boy.
When you say arrived on your own, do you mean like it was like a tour was set up for you, or did you just
like
literally
a backpack on my own? Arrived into Nairobi, met Jenga, who was our tour guide. He was from Kenya.
Please tell me you invented the game.
No, because it was spelled NJ. Jenga. Yeah, he's lovely. We're friends on Facebook still. Like, it's really cool. And then there was about 4 of us, and we travelled for the first bit, and then we picked up the rest.
Right.
And then when we were in Zimbabwe, we picked up 2 girls who'd been pistol whipped on an overnight train, like smacked in the face with guns and held at gunpoint. Yeah, we rescued them in Zambia, Zimbabwe. They were really shocked, really upset. And I ended up going to Ireland with them, travelling with them. I had a really good,
Can you? What happened to them?
They'd done the sort of, we're going to travel Africa on our own.
Oh God.
Which wasn't great. And they got an overnight sleeper train. And somebody had come into their carriage with guns up their face and took everything. Yeah.
Right.
Cameras.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Passports, I think. Yeah, really bad.
Jeez.
So we picked them up and we travelled all the way down to Cape Town. Had the best time ever. And then I got her. That was in my second year at uni. So I just love travel. That was where it all started, really. And then I just got the bug. And the problem with travelling is you meet people and they're like, "Oh, I've just come back from Nepal," and you're like, "How's that?" "I'm back from Tibet." "How's that?" "Oh, that's gonna have to go on my list." Mongolia. "Oh my God, amazing!" And you just start adding more to the list. So
do you think you've been most places around the world?
I've done every continent but Antarctica.
Right.
And I haven't counted it recently. I'm probably over 60 countries.
Wow.
So there's 190 something, I think. Yeah. So I'm a bit behind. Having kids.
Yeah.
Put a halt on that for a while. But
we have a chart on the wall, don't we? With little diamonds on it.
That's what it is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
The red dots. That's awesome.
Rachel's got to take emergency call, so we're going to carry on. So what were we talking about? We were talking about
travel and the map.
My map, our map's got loads of little diamonds on it for places we've been. So
Where's next?
We're next going to Barcelona, which we've both done, but the kids haven't.
Oh, it's such a good city.
The kids haven't done it.
Yeah.
I haven't done Barcelona for
different every time you go as well.
Yeah, not done it for 20 years.
Nice.
And I didn't even go to the beach in Barcelona, so I didn't view Barcelona too much. Did a tour of the stadium and that sort of thing. And then we're off to Naples because I've always wanted to go to Pompeii.
I'm going there.
When are you going?
I'm going over Easter, in the Easter holidays.
Yeah, well, I think we are at some...
No,
yeah.
well, we're going to have to...
We'll have to see. We'll have to see if you're there at the same time.
You're stalking me.
I'm only human, aren't I? Well, the wife goes and we start flirting there.
No, we're going to do Pompeii Herculaneum, though, because Herculaneum's... That's the one I didn't do last time I was there, so I'm really excited.
Been told that twice now in 2 days.
It's meant to be better preserved than Pompeii.
Yeah.
So, Vesuvius. And then we're staying an hour out, so we can then get the ferries. We're going to do Amalfi and Capri and all of that.
Yeah, Rachel and I are there for about 4 nights, something like that.
So what we're doing. Ooh.
So we're in Naples and then go down to there. So nothing's really planned as such. I don't think we've even planned.
Well, do you know the mad thing? The reason we're doing it is because it worked out cheaper than staying in the UK.
Yeah.
So my husband's used up all his holiday days, so I was like, where can I go with the boys? Just get away, go and do something. I was looking at going to Windsor, do the Legoland thing, maybe Oxford, double the price.
It's amazing that. Yeah, unbelievable.
So that's why we're doing Italy. It worked out half the price than
You
staying
would think
here.
you could rock up to UK places with a British passport and have a little bit of a discount, wouldn't you?
I was even looking at like doing a bit of Premier Inn or a little bit of Airbnb, and it was the Airbnbs. It was the accommodation that was costing so much, and then of course you've got to factor in dinners. So I was looking at self catering. Oh my god! So yeah, Italy it is warmer, nicer.
Right. Let's talk gunpoint. I know for a fact you've been held at gunpoint.
I have. Yeah. Well, when you're a solo traveller in your 20s in Africa, you're going to clock up a few stories. So I've definitely had quite a few, and looking back now, there's no way that I would do it again. But it always came about because I was a bit of a kind of, I used to rely on the Lonely Planet, which we would call the Lying Planet. So when you're in the travel world, I mean, it's out of date within about 6 months. So which one do you want? Do you want the Gunpoint or do you want the Fred Flintstone?
No, we can do the Gunpoint first. I'm going to go through stuff that I know Rachel knows, then she's not going to miss anything.
True. Okay. Yeah.
So tell me a bit about Lonely Planet, because someone that has never backpacked, I've never backpacked or anything like that, I don't even know what that is. Is it like a website?
It's like no, Lonely Planet. Well, back in the day, I mean, it's all online now. You just ask ChatGPT or something.
Yeah.
We're talking 2000 to 2010, so that 10-year gap.
Yeah.
So before sort of AI and all of that. So I would buy a Lonely Planet guide. So I want a Lonely Planet guide on Senegal or Ghana or something.
Okay, right. I've never done that in my life.
It's your Bible. It's very heavy. It weighs a lot. When you've got your backpack on your back, it's a big old chunky thing. But you need something because you need to know like what are the top 5 hostels, where can I go to get some money out, where's this? So
it's like Fic magazine, like basically
a book, like a Bible.
Really?
Yeah.
What, book size?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And chunky. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone's probably laughing at me listening to this, like I don't know what it is, but never had to experience one of them.
Yeah, so the Ghana story with the Fred Flintstone, which we'll come on to, that was because of the Lion Planet. But no, Senegal was because of Alitalia, the airline thing, who went bankrupt they went into liquidation a couple of days after I sued them. Was where I worked, I used to set up volunteer programs. So I ran the African department, which was the biggest department, and it was basically going out and supporting volunteers who were working in orphanages or doing lion rehabilitation. We had a lovely monkey conservation one. We did teaching, like all sorts. And I would go out, assess the projects, go and check them out, and then because I could do that, they'd say, well, we'll pay for your flights and then you can just travel. So it was a great way. I mean, it was such a great way to just travel the world.
Job.
Oh, they were like, if you want to go to Peru, go and see some of our projects, or go to the rainforest in Ecuador, go and visit all the jaguars and the animal rehabilitation, and then you can just travel through Ecuador. So we did that and got to the Galapagos.
So you've done the Inca Trail thing?
Yeah.
Rachel
I didn't walk it. We were on a tour thing, so I cheated and I got up there.
She will never forgive me if we talk about that without her in the room.
Okay, we'll wait.
The Inca Trail we'll come back to. We'll get onto the B plan at some point as well.
Yeah,
I keep pointing at an empty wall, but it does go up there. There it is.
But Senegal. So I travelled into Ghana. I love Ghana. Ghana is still one of my top 2 African countries. I just love it so much. And did Ghana, travelled around, did a few bits, got an internal flight there. But Alitalia, because they messed up one of my flights, they then cancelled me off all the connecting flights afterwards. So I'd had this going through, getting out of about like all these different places. And then when I flew from Ghana to Senegal, there was a big problem with that. And so we had to have loads of negotiations and all that. And then basically Senegal hadn't had the best experience. I found it very difficult being, a Western woman in her 20s with blonde hair. It was very different. I had a lot of stroking as you walk past, a lot of marriage proposals, a lot of hair. People pulled my hair as I walked along the road. So I found it quite challenging.
We've experienced something similar. So we went to Hong Kong and then we went to mainland China just to go to the Disney. I think it was a Disney there, just outside of Hong Kong. Yeah, there was a Disney there. And our daughter, she was born with 3 inches of hair, jet black hair, but then it went to long blonde.
Wow.
So she was like Rapunzel, basically.
Wow, yeah.
When we went there, we were just waiting as a family. I think someone had gone, when one of your family members go to the loo, so you just wait for them to come back, didn't you? And then they came back, and then we realised there was just a ring of people around us, just looking at her, just watching
Wow.
her. Because she was dancing and prancing, and they were just in awe of her because it's like they'd never seen that in the flesh before. It's really weird.
Wow, I had a
And they were lovely though. Don't get me wrong. The Chinese were lovely, respectful and everything. Never touched her or anything like that. But were just in awe of her.
Yeah. We had my husband and I, we went to India, and that was in a different travel company that I'd done. We did 3 weeks. We were so lucky. We had our own driver. I mean, it worked out. I mean, it was like one of the cheapest trips we'd done. Had our own personal driver for the whole thing. But he would drop us off. We went completely off the beaten track. And he'd drop us off at these old ancient ruins and temples and then be like, I'll come back in a few hours. Oh my gosh, it was like something, we got like mobbed because they'd never seen a Westerner where we were. And because of the caste system and sort of touch and things like that, they, you give some of your wealth or your good luck and your prestige, I guess. I don't know what you call it, but all the street kids and stuff.
Through touch? Right.
And we started off with 10 kids following us, and we were like, oh, this is weird. And then 20. There was about 300 people following us around this temple, like communities coming out. And then one person came with a camera, and it was like, please, can we have your photos taken? And I said to him, like, what are you going to do with this photo? He said, you're going to go on our mantelpiece in the living room. And I was like, you don't know me. It was so weird. And they wanted me more than Andy. But yeah, it was, and teams of people like stood with us, like 40 people at a time, to have our photos taken.
And where was this again? Senegal?
No, this was in India. This was in a really remote part of India.
I've had a friend experience the same thing. Yeah.
It was mad. And I was like, but I'm not famous. I'm not famous. Like, I'm not. And they were like, oh, it was so bizarre. And honestly, it was about 200 to 300 people. And it did get a bit, at one stage, I was a bit like, is this normal? Are we okay? Like, it was so many. But India again, if I could go back one place, I want to do more.
Really?
Oh, God, I loved it. The people, just beautiful. Just the craziest, most busiest, most populated, noisy. I never wanted to go because I don't...
We got back. Rachel back. We decided to carry on, Rach.
Yeah, that's right.
But we carried on with stories that you know. But actually, we've jumped into stories that you don't know.
We've gone into India now. We're now in India. We haven't got to Senegal yet.
I mentioned about Tilly. Basically, I'm just going to carry on playing this. Sorry to everyone that's hearing this, but I mentioned about Tilly in China, where we went to the Disney, and there was a ring of people just staring at her in awe.
But then that happened to me as well.
Hang about, your mic's off. Go on.
Oh, sorry. That happened to me as well. When I was 5, my mum and dad took me touring around Asia, and because I was dark, like literally jet black hair, bright blue eyes, people were trying to take me away, and they were like, oh, we want to have a photo, and they were like, no, she has to stay with us. She has to stay with us. It was really weird because they don't normally see dark hair, blue eyes sort of thing.
So Chloe was in India with her husband, and then 6 kids were around them.
Yeah.
And then they got dropped off into like nowhere, basically, to look at old ruins, and then there was 300 around them.
It was unreal.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Oh my goodness!
It's like a football crowd. Wow. It was unbelievable. It was amazing, and all they want to do is shake your hand, touch your hand. Yeah. I mean, the kids would come up and be like, "Do you want to shake hands?" And you shake, and they go, "Wah!" They go mental and run around
because they think they're going to gain wealth from it. And
I don't understand fully how it works, but there's the caste system. So it was
that's the sad thing about India.
My driver didn't want me touching them. He was like, "Don't," it's like, and I, after Africa and off, like,
it's about also. Like if they're a farmer, they're trying to break this, aren't they? But if your dad's a farmer, then you have to be a farmer, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I need to know more about it. Before, but it was. I was saying though, I'd never wanted to go to India because I'm quite a sort of country bumpkin, quite like a bit of open space, and India just always seemed like just mad. Yeah. But I've never been to such a peaceful place. Wow. It's mad and it's bustling, but the people, their nature, it's such a calm, loving. I just found it. Yeah.
How long ago was this?
Amazing.
Well? A while ago.
Just before I got married, so maybe 2009.
Right. Okay.
But I'd love to go back. I had just so many. Oh, it's just beautiful. Yeah, loved it.
Do you travel with your boys a lot? Do you give them sort of the bug?
Yeah, really trying to get into that now. Like I didn't want to do it when they were really, really young because
we're probably in Naples at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll have
to. Wow.
Do something fun together. Yeah, my boys are like, I know, it's crazy. But no, I'm really trying to. When they were really young, I was like, I don't want to spend all this money and they won't remember it.
Yeah,
sort of thing. But now, we just did in October. We just did Egypt with them, and we did So we stayed down the south, but then we went like Hurghada, and then we went across to Cairo and did the pyramids and Luxor, Valley of the Kings, and did all of that with them. And literally, it was like a 2-day whistle stop. They were up at 3 a.m. and going till midnight, bless them. They really were. They really pulled it in and were really good.
Yeah.
Right, listeners are going to kill me because it was the gunpoint story. And we have veered
Senegal.
because I jumped in.
So basically, I'd had a bit of a rough time out there. My flight was about 2 a.m. The airport was teeny tiny. I'd been waiting all day, and that day I'd actually met an English lady that lived out there, and she'd taken me in for the day and sort of fed me and talked to me and kept me company, and we were sort of just hanging out, and she was the one that dropped me at the airport and was like, have a good trip home. I was like, thank you. And I really wanted to go home. And when I got there, they just said, you're not on the flight. And I just was like, you're joking. And I immediately, that fear, that sort of sick feeling, the shaking of like, oh my God, I had a man who was fully amputated from the waist downwards following me around on his hands and kept grabbing my bag and pulling at my trousers. And, you know, when it's all chaotic and there's no one there, it's like a ghost town because it's 2 a.m. And I was begging for help, and they went and got the manager of the airport, that is, and he came down in his suit, and he just looked at my passport and just put it in his top pocket and just turned around and walked off up an escalator. And I went, no. And it's all in French. And I grabbed his shirt as if to say, like, where are you going with my passport? And then all his guards just pulled these, I don't know, AK-47s, like proper machine guns on me and put me against the wall. I was like, you know, in your brain, it's going so far. It was such a thing. And then he disappeared for half an hour. And I think it must have been just to check flight logs or something.
Yeah.
I could see there was little offices in the upstairs. It was like a corridor. I could see. But then he did come back and he just said, no. And I was just like, what do you mean? And he just said, like, turn around and go over there. And it was the Alitalia little flight desk. But the guy was pulling the metal sheet down and I was banging on it, like, s'il vous plaît, like that. And he lifted it. I was like, what do you want? And I was like, get me on a flight home. And I paid, it was $2,300, I think, pounds to get home. And I got like the last seat. And then when I then had to stop in Nigeria, I think, Lagos or something. And I can't remember where I was. And the flight was leaving in 20 minutes. And there was just a queue of all these men. And I just had to, like, you know, and you're like, be brave. I was like 24 or something. And I was like, sorry. And I just pushed past, and I was getting the tuts and the really annoyed at me. One guy blocked me and stood and was like, you shall not pass. And I was just like, I'm gonna miss my flight. I mean, there was just tears, there was snot, there was hysteria, there was like near vomiting. I was so bereft. And then I got on that flight back to London.
Did he let you pass when you cried?
He did. I think it was almost like, don't mess with her. I think I had the wild eyes. Like, I am coming home. I'm coming home. Get me home. And and then I spent a week in the office screaming and shouting at Alitalia because there was just, you know, we're not paying. And I was like, you will, And I got every penny back.
Did you?
And then they went under about 3 days later. So maybe I was the final nail in the coffin for them. But, it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. So that was one of my least favourite travel experiences of all the travel
experiences. About Flintstones.
Flintstones was Ghana, where I had trusted the Lying Planet. I'd arrived in, I can't remember the name of it. It was about 3 hours out of Accra, which was the capital, or Accra. And I'd gone because there's a lovely waterfall. And I was like, I want to go and see this waterfall. And it's like, you know, in Lonely Planet, it's like, it's a lovely little town with this and that and that. And I'm like, oh, that sounds very quaint. Of course, you get there and it's just a red mud road and a couple of huts and one hostel. So, but when I'd got there, I'd run out of cash. So I had no more money. So and that was in the days when you could travel with a checkbook. But I don't think, you know. So I was in this hostel, and that's where I met a really interesting guy who was cycling around Africa. And he was from Norway. He used to sell Christmas trees in the winter. But he'd arrived on his bike. And we were chatting.
Big summer blowout.
But when we were chatting, he'd just come from Ethiopia. He'd had a really awful incident. He'd had his head caved in he got stoned in the street. And he had to be helicoptered out back to Norway to recover. And I said, how are you back here? And he said, I got I got a flight back into Ethiopia and a bus to that exact spot, and I got on my bike and I carried on.
Wow.
It was unreal. This guy, I never forget him. Blonde, curly hair. He was lovely. We hung out for a couple of days. That's what I mean. When you travel, you just meet like crazy people doing crazy things. And anyway, I'd run out of money. So I was like, Lying Planet said I could get on a bus and travel 3 hours out to this ATM. So I was like, right, I'll do that. So I waited, and I had to sit on the back row of the bus, and I had, I was telling you, I had this woman who had no top on. She had like a sarong, but it was from the waist because she was breastfeeding her twins. But I had to hold, I had a goat, and there was boxes of chickens all in the aisle. And I had a goat here, sort of sharing half my lap. But she was literally like, hold my kid. So I had one boy. They were big boys. They must have been about a year old. They were big. And she, bless her boob, there was anyway, there's a lot of boob. They were very long. A lot of boobs. They were very long. And I had this one boy, and I had to have him while he just breastfed for the whole journey. But he had nothing on. He just wet me. Just wet himself. So I was covered in pee, which is fine. You know, it's Africa, isn't it? So whatever. And I got out there, and there wasn't an ATM. There was just a hole in a brick wall with just that you could just look through. There was nothing there.
Nicked.
So I was like, oh, how am I going to get any money? So I thought, I'll go and have a look at this waterfall, which was literally like...
Was it bad?
You know, as the hose was just going off and you just sort of drape it over a brick wall. It was sort of like a... And anyway, so then I finished, and it was about 2 p.m. or something, 3 p.m, and I sat on a bank, and I'm like, right, the bus is coming at about 4:30, so we'll be all right. And this taxi driver arrived in a yellow New York taxi, and he stood there, and he was like that, and I was like, no, you're okay, thanks, I'm gonna get the bus. And he was like, there's no bus. And I was like, I'm gonna get the bus, it's gonna be all right. And he came over, and I thought, oh god, here we go. And he did the handshake. I'll do the handshake, Simon. This is what they do.
Ah, right, okay.
And it means they like you. So I was like, and I told him off, and he laughed, and I was like,
and you already knew this?
Yeah.
That this was a dodgy handshake. Yeah,
the handshake. The middle finger. So I was like, I'm not getting you in your cab. And then farmers started arriving from their day of work with all their big scythes and their stuff, and they started getting in the cab. And then it got to about 6 p.m. and it started getting dark, and all the women had gone into their little mud huts with the babies, and I'm still on this bank like, the bus is really late. And then it was dark, and I was like, oh, there's no bus. Oh my God. And you know when you're like, you go back into hypervigilant mode of like, I saw a nice lady going into that mud hut. Maybe I could go over there. And there's that over there. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, and I was like, oh. And so I went over, and I was like, this is where I'm going. He was like, that's no problem. And it was 3 hours on the bus. I mean, it was a long way. And he was like, I'll take you there. And I was like, okay. And I just thought, well, I've got no choice really. And there were some kids in there. So I was like, okay. So I get in there, and I got to have the front seat. Of course, there's no belts, and there's no glass in the windows, and there's no floor.
Was there no front windscreen?
There was a windscreen. It was cracked to hell, but yeah. But there was no floor. And so I got in, and I'm like, oh, okay. So
like, you can't even fall asleep,
my feet sort of like that. And then he's like, here you go. And one kid climbed over, and the other kid. So I've got these two boys, I don't know how old they are, like maybe 10 and 8 or something. And they're on my lap. I've got my feet, had one up on the dashboard, I think. And I'm sort of like that. And we're driving for like 2.5 hours. And in the back, there's him and them. And then there's like 4 or 5 men and a goat in the back attached on a chain to a chainsaw. And over all the bumps, so the goat's screaming the whole way home, like all the way. And these guys in the back, it's like just all these blades and scythes. And we're driving down these little potholed roads with wheat crops and things up higher than me. And it's just not a word, you know, and you're just like, and they're all chatting. And I just thought, I'm not going to get home. This is not good. And I was like, this is probably the most stupid thing I've ever done. And we'd stop off in a little like village with 5 houses, and one guy would get out, and then the next guy, and then the kid would get out, and it was just me and the taxi driver, and we were getting closer and closer to the plant, and I was like, oh my God. And then he dropped me off, and it was like 10 p.m, and I was like, I've got no money, I don't know what to do, can you just wait? And I was thinking about my Ethiopian cyclist, and I'm like, I'm going to go and find him and get some of his Norwegian like magic and get some money. And he just said, no, don't worry. And he just turned the taxi driver and went.
Wow.
And he didn't charge me. And then I still had no money after my perilous journey. So the next day I rocked up at the bank, and there was the bank manager, Cuthbert, because I wrote about him. I had a travel journal, and I wrote about him, and I did a poem about him, about the kindness of strangers, because he just said, just wait there. And I was crying. And I just said, I don't know what to do. There's no money. I can't. I don't know why I couldn't get it out of the bank. I don't think they had an ATM. I don't know. I couldn't get it out at the bank. And he came back with this wad of cash. And I just said, where's this? And he said, this is mine. And I said, oh my God, I'll pay you back. And he said, no, don't worry. And so all that day, I worked out how to make a plan to find some money, to get a cash point, get some money. And I did. I got loads out. And I went back to the bank, and he refused to take it. Wow. And I just, this for me was Ghana. The kindness that I had as a solo traveller. I mean, and just, where would you get in a cab with 8 men and blades? But
the thing is, the hole in the floor, you can't fall asleep.
And in the back.
You can't fall asleep. You drop one of them kids, they go under.
Simon, when you're facing near murderous death and pillaging, you're not going to go to sleep.
Way up.
I'm not going to be like, I'm just going to clear smiles and have a nice relaxing. I'm like that. I'm like hypervigilant. I'm looking for my way out. I'm looking like, which blade can I grab to defend myself? I mean, I'm like hypervigilant mode of like... Yes, that was not... it took me probably 10 years before I told Mum and Dad that story. They were like, did you have a good time? I'm like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it took me years later, when I'd hung up my travel boots, to be like, I have to tell you a story about Ghana. And they were like, you did what? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would be very impressed till it came to us and said, oh, by the way. I'm like, what the hell?
I just didn't know what else to do. I mean, and then in the Lonely Planet, it said the next bus wasn't for like 4 days. That was the other thing. There was not one coming then the next day.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a Sunday. I think that's why I couldn't get to the bank. There was definitely, oh man. Yeah, really mad. But I do love Africa. Africa's got a smell. When you get off the plane, you can smell it. It's lovely. It's like almost, I don't know what it is. It's like a warmth and like the dust or, oh yeah. Oh, I miss it. I need to go back. I haven't been for a long time. So.
And guess where she's been, Rachel, since you were away? She's been to Inca Trail. She's been on the Inca Trail.
And we were
Rachel tells everyone at any given moment that she's done.
Liked it.
I know.
It was amazing. And we were one of the few groups that when we got up to the top of Machu Picchu, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Fluorescent blue.
Ours was
skies.
Amazing. You could literally, because we did a trek, so we started quite far back, and I think it was a 4 or 5 day trek that actually took us, and the end point was Machu Picchu. And so we walked and we camped and we walked and did all that. And then this last day we had to get up at, I think it was something like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, pack all our stuff up. The Sherpas were taking the tents back down, so we had no more tents, and we had to wait for the gate to open, and the gate opened at something like 4 a.m. And then you trek up, and by the time you get over that ridge and you look down into the valley and you think, oh my God, and it was amazing. You could see everything and it was so clear. It was amazing. And then by the time we walked all the way around, because we'd done 4 or 5 days of walking and camping, we got down, and you have to actually leave the park, and you've got tickets to actually go and see the ruins then. So you leave the park and then you have to go back in. And our time was, we got there quite early, so we had like an hour's wait. So people got drinks, they got food, and then everyone sat down, and then that was it. Everyone was like, oh my God. So we didn't really, sounds really horrible, but we didn't appreciate the ruins as much as we should have, because everyone was exhausted from camping for 4 days, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, that sort of thing. But they were astonishing. They were amazing to actually be there. But I'd love to go where it was just, you can actually like appreciate it a bit more, because of not being, because you can get a bus up there and you can do the touristy bit, so you could do all that. But yeah, because we'd done the actual trek to it rather than done just the touristy bit, we were like, okay, we're all absolutely naked. We smelt. It was just horrible. Everyone was covered in dust and rain and everything like that. But it was amazing.
In hindsight now, if you'd had my pocket rocket sachets, you would have been the first one up there.
God,
everyone else would have been sat down.
I'm not going to lie, but when you said pocket rocket, I was thinking something else.
Well, you would, Simon. You would.
I was like, this has taken a turn, this podcast.
But I mean, we've always travelled with our children, haven't we? We've always said, they just follow us.
They got to understand there's a bigger world out there.
And they're good travellers. They're amazing in the plane. From babies onwards, they've always been amazing. They just
we took Ted to Australia whilst potty training. So I was like literally every 5 minutes on this journey to, I think we went to Singapore, and then we went down from Singapore to Australia. And I was like, do you need a wee? Do you need a wee? Do you need a wee? And by the end of it, he was like, Mum, I will let you know.
Oh,
and
awesome.
he was amazing. Yeah, he did literally a 24-hour flight, and he was amazing. So
I don't get up though. Like, I've had a delayed flight from New York back home, and I've just sat down for 14 hours and not got up for a wee or anything.
Well, that's
I can
bad.
just sit there.
He's normally that person, you know, when you walk down the aisle and they're asleep before takeoff, and you're like, oh, look at him. I
don't know how you can. Oh my God. Well, you're at risk of deep vein thrombosis.
Oh, thank you.
You need to move on a flight and exercise the old leggage.
I was waiting. I teed her right up for that.
Yeah, of course you did.
I cannot sleep sitting up. No. So on a flight, I went out to Rio last year with the company and everything, all expenses paid. It was very nice. And the whole flight, the overnight flight, I just watched 6 movies back to back. I cannot, sitting up, you can't.
It's uncomfortable.
It's
no way.
Yeah.
So I'll just watch movies the whole time.
I'm the recliner bloke that has to recline. But if there's a recliner there, then you're allowed to recline. That's all I see.
100%.
It winds me up. I've had rows with people behind me.
Really?
People I've known, I've had rows with them behind me. I'm like, what are you talking about?
But the seat goes back, so...
Yeah.
And push
I'm not
yours
sitting
back.
bolt upright just because you've got long legs. Not my problem.
Me.
Not my problem.
And you had to go someone on a holiday, didn't you? So me, because it's normally me and the kids in the 3, and then he's on his own, which he likes. And then there was a guy, he put his feet out, so it was still in his foot room, wasn't it? And then the guy put his feet back to put them under his chair. And he was like, "You need to move your feet. You're in my area." And he was like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." Do you remember that a few years ago?
People.
You were like,
"People."
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad always tells the story.
It turned out to be all right, though.
Yeah.
It turned out to be a nice bloke. We ended up being on holiday near him.
Got to get them on side, haven't you? Get the tricky ones on side. But no, my dad always tells the story. I was awful on a flight once. I think I had an ear infection when I was really little. I was screaming so much. The only way to calm me down was to lay me on the floor, and Mum had to put her feet on top of me. Like I was proper toddler from hell.
Right.
And I was going nuts. And the guy in front was getting so angry and irate. My dad, instead of helping, got up and moved to the back of the plane. Because he just couldn't cope with the embarrassment of how bad this kid was. Yeah. And then Mum, this guy's kicking off in front, getting really angry. I'd finally passed out, so Mum was like, "Right, I'm going to have a quick wee." And as she got up, she grabbed the seat in front and garroted him, pulled him by his neck, and like, what? Because she just went to grab the seat to get up. And this poor guy who already hated her
really hated
got into a full neck choke, like a blooming wrestling hold.
She's probably
Serves
like,
him
yes, that's karma.
Serves him right.
The last few flights I've been on, I've been hit with stuff, haven't I? People accidentally dropped their bags and whacked me over the head.
One of them
I was asleep once in the aisle with my knee slightly out, and the stewardess rammed it so I was in so much pain, and I just woke up enough to see her laughing about it, and I was like, oh, and I wish I'd wrote something in the instant book. There must be an instant book there or
That's
something.
in The Wedding Singer, isn't it, with Drew Barrymore?
Oh, is it?
And she always has to go on the aisle seat because she's got a horrible boyfriend or fiance, and the trolley hits her elbow, and she's like, and it's true. You keep your elbow out, your legs out, and you get a clunk.
My knee is still clicking from that now.
Oh, poor you.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's some sort of, thing I could take.
The B-plan.
Are we ever going to get onto the B plan?
I just remember one flight that I had to go on. I was heavily pregnant with Ted, and we decided to go off to Hong Kong, and they wouldn't let me back. I had to go and see a doctor because they were like, "No, your letter
pregnant.
from the doctor is actually a week out of date. You need to actually go and see our doctor."
She was smiling. She was smiling when she said it, this woman from BA. Sorry, you can't be on the flight.
You've got to stay out here until you give
She's
birth.
like, well, I could give birth here.
And they were like, "Well, yeah." I was like, "No."
Oh my god! Well, they don't want the liability, do they? Oh my
And I remember because I even got a
scary.
letter from the doctor saying she's fit, she's healthy, baby's fit and healthy, had a scan just before she came out, absolutely fine. But I remember sitting on that plane and I think I was 32 weeks pregnant, and I was so uncomfortable. I was doing this. In the end, I had to sit under the chair and my head on the seat like that. That is the only way I could get comfortable. And people were looking like, "Is she all right?" I just remember like that. I'm so comfortable right now. Please don't move.
I did I was saying last night, I watched Erin Brockovich at the weekend, which was a great film, and it brought back memories when I was coming back from Samoa on the very last night after 6 weeks. I did the Camel Trophy 2000 thing On the
Whatever that
PR
is. Do you
team.
know what that is?
It set a world record. It was the largest amount of water crossed in a rib. It was like a competition around the world of all different teams.
Okay.
I was on the PR team. Our hotel we got to share with the Tongan and Fijian rugby teams. That was nice when they were training in the morning in the pool. But on the way back, we all got a bit tipsy on the last night. I did a Shania Twain ensemble, and I ate the ice in my drink. And I was watching Erin Brockovich on the plane. And I was like, I don't feel very well. I was going back to Sydney. And I went to sleep, which I never do in a film. I always stay up through the end. And when I woke up, I just remember grabbing this air steward, like, help me. I was laying across the seats. And I was like, I'm not well. And I had to go to the back of the plane. And they did the bing bong. Is there a doctor on board?
Good for you.
And
Excellent.
a doctor came on. And I was on the back. Then they had the fire crew stretching me off into an ambulance. And I spent a week in Sydney Hospital. I was so ill.
Just from the
and
ice.
I was like unconscious of that. They had to keep waking me up. I was really poorly.
And it was the ice.
Yeah, water. I've had that a couple of times. Water's worse than food poisoning because it gets into all the cells.
Yeah.
I was very ill. I was on a drip for days. Oh, yeah, that was brutal. But Erin Brockovich always reminds me of, excuse me, help me, please. This air steward, like, help me. I'm going to die.
Goodness.
I was so ill. Oh, my God.
I couldn't think of anything worse than flying and being horrendously ill.
I was that ill in Uganda as well. Like, that was bad. With my poor dad, I'd brought him out with me to go and trek the gorillas in Rwanda. And as we were doing the border crime, I was unconscious on the bus. I was really ill. Yeah,
Wow.
that was, Oh, there's loads. I've got them. I've got loads.
I should have warned everyone that
loads of
if they want
stories.
to hear about the B plan, jump 45 minutes on in this podcast.
Actually, we should put that at the beginning to get to health. Just skip the first segment. But yeah, health. So basically,
So you did
doing all that
travelling.
African travel doesn't work when you've got 2 kids. So, and I'd had a stint in a design agency, and that was full time or nothing. So I was the stuck stay-at-home mum, desperate to do something for myself, desperate for some extra income. And the B plan was born basically in 2015.
Oh, right, okay. I felt like it's been going on for ages because the B plan I have heard of a lot. I'm sure, I feel like I have anyway, but maybe it's just you, Keith.
It's just me. I'm everywhere.
If you just keep on about it, yeah, maybe. So tell us about
Training
it,
on.
exactly what it is.
So it's all about being happier and healthier and wealthier and part of something really special. So I partnered with the company, so I'm like an affiliate with the company back in 2015. But because I'd had such phenomenal results with the products, so I first started them in 2013 through my health practitioner who runs a phenomenal clinic in Kent. He's building like natural clinics in Dubai, and he's just an amazing man. So as you touched upon with my skin, I'd battled acne for 20 years. So from when I was 12 right up to 32, my hormones were an absolute mess. My acne would put me in hospital with blood poisoning, hooked up to drips. It would all track down in my arms. And I just couldn't work out. It just felt really unfair because I'd been the classic sort of really healthy kid. Like my mum would always cook from scratch. We never had, I don't ever remember. I remember once getting a KFC with my grandparents when they were looking after us. That's the only time I ever remember eating fast food. You know, it was always.
Even now?
I haven't had a McDonald's since 2002.
Oh my God.
I know. People are like, come on, I haven't. It was when we signed off for our flat in university. We went and celebrated with a McDonald's, me and Carla, in Nottingham city centre. That's the last McDonald's I had.
Blimey. I've been to that McDonald's. But carry on.
Oh, there's a few, I'd imagine. But yeah, been there. Remember that one? Had my nuggets there. So my skin started when I was 12, and you just do the classic. You go to the GP and you get your. It started off with a topical and like a topical treatment, and then it was a round of antibiotics for a very long time, and then that wasn't working. So I went on the pill at 12. It was 12. I went on the pill.
12.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was really bad. My face. Bless me. It was horrible. And then that sort of didn't work. And then it got to the point where all my cycles were going crazy, and I was very anemic. I had really heavy cycles as well.
Surely being on the pill caused that as well, didn't it?
Well,
Or are we not allowed to say that? I don't know.
Well, no, I don't know. I just did. I mean, it's still sort of a bit of an ongoing issue. So my hormones have always been like, if I'm going to do anything, I do it 150%. So everything's like, go hard or go home. So yeah. And
sounds like her.
it got to 18, but we were doing like, yeah, I'm blessed. I mean, yeah, don't just do a little bit.
Yeah, but hormones as well.
leg.
Oh, hormones.
Yeah, hormones. I think, you know, you're either, but weirdly, my mum's just the opposite. Like, you know, the perfect sort of hormone person, but I was just all over the place and really struggled with mood swings as well, and anxiety and all that jazz. And then they'd sort of, at 18, just before I went to America, just before my gap year, they put me on Accutane, which is a really aggressive medication. So I was having my liver checked because that can cause a lot of problems with that. I'd had a friend that had done it and had terrible keloid scars, so he'd had to have plastic surgery from here all the way down. So I was terrified of that. So you have a lot of monitoring on that. And the first time I went on it, I was on it for over a year. It was my whole first year of university and all through my gap year. So I was nearly 2 years on that probably, but I started to go a bit nuts. So I came off it. And then all my acne came back, and it had never fully gone. It just was better. And at the same time, though, because my mum's really into natural health and things like that, you know, we'd been doing osteopathy. I'd done colonics, I'd done lasers, I'd done peels, we'd done Harley Street. I'd been under so many dietitians and nutritionists. I mean, you name it, herbs, homeopaths, body testing, elimination diets, Atkins diets, gluten-free diets, organic diets, Candida diets, like everything. So I wasn't just, give me medication. I was trying everything. And I just battled my face till I was 32. And then I self-diagnosed polycystic ovarian syndrome. And luckily mum they had private health. So I went and paid for a scan. And they said it was the worst case they'd ever seen. My ovaries were so cystic. They said, you won't be able to conceive. You'll need to have ovarian drilling and clomid, metformin, that sort of thing if you want to. And I was with my now husband. We were living together in London. So that was devastating. And I always knew I wanted kids. And I was just like, oh my God, what if I can't have children? So that was a blow. And that's when I started Googling. I just was like, well, it's this or nothing kind of thing. So there's got to be. My whole thing was, there's got to be why have I got a face like this in my 20s and my 30s? This isn't teenage acne now. And I just couldn't work it out when I had the best diet, like compared to like Carla, who I lived with in that flat. Like, she loved McDonald's. That was like her weekly thing, you know, would roll out of bed in the morning and spark up a Benson and Hedges and then have a packet of Space Raider crisps. And then dinner was a pizza and a cider, you know, and there's me like soaking my chickpeas and, you know, stewing my aubergine with my, you know, it just felt really unfair, I guess, if you know, it's unfair, but it didn't feel fair. So yeah, and then my uncle knew Jeff, the clinician. He had an old injury from rugby, so he was like, maybe you should go and see this guy. He's got all these amazing people in the clinic. And I was trying to conceive. I'd luckily fallen pregnant with Arthur, and so I couldn't believe it. When I tested positive on an ovulation thing, I ran to my mum's house and was like, look at this, I produce eggs. Oh my God. So that was, and I just fell pregnant with Arthur pretty easy. And that was against the rule book of what should be happening with me. So I had Arthur, and then the day he was born, oh my God, like he was born with an eye infection, he had wet eczema, he had loads of problems. And he was quite a sickly baby, loads of tonsillitis, loads of A&E visits, loads of issues. And then literally within 3 days, my skin, because I hadn't had bad acne for the last 6 months, my body loves progesterone, and that's really high when you're pregnant. So the minute he was out, my skin, I mean, I ended up with blood poisoning again, and it just erupted. And so by then I was spending, I don't know, 300 a month, 400 a month, trying to do lasers and peels and these 7-step Abaji treatments. And
so it wasn't like it while you were pregnant as much?
No, my skin from 12 weeks to 9 months, my skin, that's the only time I ever had clear skin. Do you feel that was going to the baby, that problem was going to the baby while it was inside? I definitely think I had a major gut issue. And if you think about sort of it's natural
eating
birth,
from you, feeding from you.
The baby will, the whole process of like natural vaginal births is that they take a lot of your good bacteria through the process. I didn't have good bacteria. I had really bad gut health.
Well, I suppose all the antibiotics you were on, they've always said if you're on them for
so many as a kid as well. Like I had ear infections as well.
Is he all right complexion wise, and does he have problems now? Or
well, he's a capsule. Well, I put him on the products when he was 3. Because he was so sick.
Yeah.
And they wanted to take his tonsils out with a 5% chance of life-threatening bleeding. And I'm sat in this hospital room with a guy in scrubs just saying, so you sign this and there's a 5% chance. I said, what, that he would die? And I said, what would you do? And he said, I don't have kids.
Oh my God.
And I just went, right. And I said, well, I can't sign this. I'm sorry. So I rang Jeff and I said, what am I going to do? And he said, put him on the chewies. Put him on the little things. That might help. That will just support his immune system. We'll get him on a really good little probiotic and we'll do this and do that. And that's when I started a gut protocol with him. And he's, well, touch wood, he's never taken antibiotics since. And he's nearly 15. So
Wow.
it's been massive for us because it was bad. And he, bless him, he's had a real, it's been a struggle for him. And now that I know, there's so many things I'd do different, but you can't live with regret. But then what I'd done was I then went to the clinic to try and get pregnant again because I had miscarriages and I just couldn't get pregnant. It was just suddenly, this isn't easy. And I can't hold on to a baby. And it was awful. So I went there and he had an acupuncturist who'd studied under Z to West, who's a brilliant fertility specialist. And she said, give me 4 months and we should have some luck. And 4 months I fell pregnant with Fred.
Wow.
And then at 6 weeks it started, the backache, the bleeding. And I was like, I can't go through this again. I rang Jeff hysterical at 9 a.m. I remember where I was stood, ringing him, crying, saying, what do I do? And he said, just come into the clinic. And he saw me at 11:15. And he does amazing testing on the body and he could see my adrenals and my progesterone, everything was just wrong.
Yeah.
And he just said, right, I'm going to put you on adrenal support. We're going to get a bioidentical progesterone. We're going to do this. And I remember I was laying on the bed with my knees up. He'd done a sort of sacral thing and sort of freed up all the tension. And I remember him just sort of peering over my knees and he was like, we might have got there in time, Chloe, because my miscarriages were really slow and really drawn out for a couple of weeks. And this was day 1. And it just stopped. And 12 weeks later, I was still pregnant with Freddie. Wow. But I was being so sick in my pregnancies. I just vomit. My morning sickness is so bad. I mean, I lost 3 stone with Arthur. I remember when Gillian McKeith was fainting on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Yeah. I was laying on the floor in fetal position, having thrown up blood. And
my goodness.
I was so ill. I had to cancel everything. I remember sitting in the office and Malcolm shared a desk, like a pod with me, and I'd just sit, and he'd be like, you're right. And I'm like, I'm going to be sick. And I just threw up every hour from 4 a.m. till midnight. And I remember bleeding and I was having all this stuff with Freddie and I was crying and I just said, Jeff, I cannot feed this baby. I can manage a piece of toast and I would nibble it for about 3 hours. I couldn't put anything in. If it came in, it just came straight up. I was dehydrated. I was just like, I can't feed him. And he said, Chloe, do you think you could take the capsules, like fruit and veg? Do you think something to get in? Because if you can keep it in for 20 minutes, you'll be nourishing and you'll get something in at a time when you can't. And I said, yeah, I'll do anything. And that's how I started on my capsules, fruits and vegetables in a capsule. He just said it'll get into the bloodstream and something will get across to that baby. And I was like, I remember saying, will that make you feel better? Because for me, psychologically, I was spiraling. Yeah. And I just said, yeah, it will. It was just peace of mind. And so I took them and I walked in at 12 weeks pregnant and my acne was calm and I had clearer skin and I just felt so much better. And he said, wow, look at you. And I was like, yeah. But my mum was already on it because mum had a hemorrhage. Mum has a really chronic health condition. And she'd had a hemorrhage and was in the hospital and I came in and it was just it was such a distressing scene. She bled out of her eyes. It was so bad. It was so awful. And I
have a tear ducts type thing.
It's happened a couple of times. And and it comes, there's so much bleeding that it goes down your throat, so you throw it up as well. Oh. It was a really awful thing. It's happened a couple of times. She's amazing, my mum. And I walked in and I was 2 weeks on the capsules. I was still very early pregnancy. And it was so funny. I woke up and do you know, I'd fallen asleep with my phone off.
I'm going to put that there.
Oh, sorry.
It's like you're playing a drum kit. It's all right. You don't usually do that.
I know, it's because I'm getting passionate. And I was 8 weeks pregnant and I remember I turned on my phone and there was all these missed calls and I just went, oh my God, something's happened to mum. And I raced down there and Andy got up and made me Marmite sandwiches because Marmite on bread was the only thing I could eat in my pregnancy. Marmite, love it or hate it. And my boys both love it as well. Oh God, my boys are Marmite babies because that's all I can eat. Yeah.
Our son hates it. Our daughter loves it.
Yeah.
So, and I went into the hospital and I just said, Mum, when you come out, we're going to get you to the clinic and I want you to get tested and I'd really like you to take these capsules that I'm taking because I just think they're going to get some goodness in. And that's how she started on this. She's been on them as long as me, since 2013. And then it was just everyone I spoke to was sick. Everybody I spoke to was tired. Everybody was rattling with vitamins and things. And I was just saying, you should go and see Jeff. You should go to the clinic. You should take these capsules I'm taking. They're so good. I feel more energized. I've got this and that. My skin's better. Da, da, da. I was just a walking billboard. When you get behind something you love, the same as a good restaurant or I know this podcast. Oh, you should go and you'd love to be on this podcast. It's amazing.
But the thing is, you but you used the products yourself, so you could testify for them, right? You could tell people how.
I just told everyone, and Jeff was like, "What are you doing? You're sending all these people to me." And I was like, "Because you're amazing. These are amazing." And he was like, why don't you just be a partner with me and just tell everybody, and you could build it as a little business. You're at home with the kids. And I was like, don't be silly.
Can I ask, was that already in place with him? Did he have other partners already?
Yeah,
so it had been established before.
He'd been at the launch of it 30 years ago,
right?
But he just established the clinic.
Right.
We invented water filters and air filters.
Right. So I didn't know if you had started this invention with him to be
No, he'd brought them into the clinic because of the herbal legislation. He'd lost a lot of his herbs, so he needed something that he could give to patients to help cleanse the system and to help support, the functioning of the body at a time when people are so stressed and so poorly and trying so hard to get it all on a plate, but they were really missing. There was gaps in their nutrition, in their well-being, in their micronutrient, and if you've got leaky gut, you can't absorb everything that's on a plate. So he was looking for something that would partner so well with what he did in clinic. So he brought it in 15 years ago. So I was a patient, I benefited from it. And every time I saw him, I'd be upset about the bills and not working and being stuck and not knowing what to do with myself. And he was like, I'd love to work with you. I think you could have a really big impact in the world. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't wear a white coat. I don't have a clinic with 40 practitioners. I can't do this. So I had a limiting belief around what I could and couldn't do. And he was like, but Chloe, you're so teachable. People love you. You're passionate about it. You're sending me 20, 30 clients. Why aren't you doing this? So I got to my moment. I call them my effort moments. If I wasn't on the podcast, I would call it the full thing. But where you get so knocked down or backed into a corner, you're like, effort. Something's got to change. I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And it was September 2015. Boys were crying. Andy was still working. He hadn't been home for like 6 months working on a film. I was really lonely. We had no money. And I just was like, I've got to go back to work. I've got to do something. And I hadn't chosen to be a stay-at-home mum. Like, I don't think the grass is greener whichever way. But I couldn't go back to work 45 hours a week because the cost of childcare meant that I would break even. Yeah. And never see my kids. And I couldn't go back part-time where I was. So I'd had to become the stay-at-home mum. And I was really struggling. I was very lonely. I'd lost a bit of purpose. I loved being a mum, but I'd lost a bit of who I was. I've always worked since I was 15. And I've always been very independent, like all that travel and things like that. Like I like doing things that push me. I like stepping out my comfort zone. And I really like doing things that make a difference. That's ultimately why I do what I do. So I called my old job back and they said, yeah, we're interviewing this week for your position. She's gone on maternity. And I was like, oh God, okay. Do I want to go back 45 hours a week? And I looked at them, the boys, and I was just like, that's not an option. I can't do it. So I rung Jeff and I was like, what's this thing? And he's like, come and find out. And I went and had a chat with him. And I just all I saw was an opportunity to make a difference and to just earn enough that I could buy a Christmas present for Andy and maybe take the boys out for a little meal once in a while. Yeah. Or maybe just say yes a couple more times. Like, should we go here? Yeah, we could do that. We can afford that. Yeah. That'd be nice. That's all I wanted. And I loved them. I was passionate about it. I could see it as a way that would build around my kids. I could do a little bit. I could do a lot. I love talking to people. And as I said, I love helping people. So I just thought, I'm going to go with this and I'm going to treat it as the gift that it is. I'm not going to treat it as a little hobby. I'm going to set it up as a little business. And it started out called Health So Simple. And I built a little website on Squarespace. And I started Googling and I was like, what is a phytonutrient? And I just became obsessed. And it became this hobby, this passion that was like, a whole new Chloe. It was like I was a mum, I was a wife, I was a daughter, I was this. And then I had this little website and I worked with these fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and they made people feel good. And then people felt good and they were like, I want to put my mum on it, I want to get my kids on it, I want to get my husband on it, I know my friends struggling with this, could it help with that? And I was like, well, you could try. And it just blew up into this amazing business over 10 years. And yeah, I'm really proud of what we've done, what we've created. And
because it's not just England based, is it? It's not just UK based, it's
no,
all
it's
around,
worldwide.
right?
So the capsules are sort of made over in America, and I've got clients in Denmark, clients in Australia, Canada, all over really.
So do they come to you for advice on what to be taking, or is it all literally?
Yeah, I won't actually have a client order directly from the website. I want to speak to them first, because my clients become my friends. I stand for them. It's like I run 30-day programs for free for my clients as well. So I've got a couple of groups at the moment, and one of them was like, oh, I've really fallen off the wagon this weekend. And I private messaged her and I was like, I remember why you started, darling. It was this, it was that, it was this, it was that. Come on, you've got this. She's like, yeah, I completely self-sabotaged myself.
So when they're doing that, they've just forgotten to take whatever it is?
No, they take their products. But we do on the programs, it's lovely. I don't believe in diets. Right. Diets just make you miserable and grumpy.
Yeah. It's that word. I hate that word.
Yeah. And diet means...
diet is something you're going to stop eventually, and then you'll be back to square one.
If you can't do it every day forever, it's never going to work.
Yeah, you're restricting yourself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And restriction makes you miserable. So for me, I believe in healthy habits that last. So what I say to my clients is, come and do 30 days with me, and we're going to focus on 2 things you increase and 2 things you decrease. And they all pick different things. Some are reducing their time on social media before bed, reducing their late nights, reducing their 5 cups of coffee a day, reducing the cake that they have, the little late night snacks at 9 p.m. So they're all very aware. I say to them, what's your niggle? What's getting in the way? And they're like, oh, I love a little chocolate bar at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I doom scroll till midnight.
It's being honest with yourself, isn't it?
Do you get them to log it all?
No, they set themselves accountable, and then we're in a tiny little group together and we all hold each other accountable. So they might say, I'm going to increase my movement just 20 minutes a day. Because for me, health starts with one step in the right direction. That's taking the right sort of nutritional support. That's why I work with the products. But then it's also like, you've got to move. You've got to drink your water. You've got to make sure you're sleeping. You've got to manage your stress. You've got to, and everybody's got different things that it's like a crutch that they rely on, and they know it's not serving them, but it's habit. And you just break a habit. One of the clients at the moment, it's 4 Pepsi Maxes a day. And she said everything else is on it. Just can't help herself. Yeah.
What, cans?
Yeah.
I used to do 2 litres a day.
I know.
Yeah. So she's just, and I said, what do you want to do? Do you want to go down to 1 a day? And she said, shouldn't I stop? And I said, well, it depends. Do you want to stop, or do you just want to have 1 a day? And she said, I might have 1 a day. She hasn't had one. She just she said, because she knew she could have 1 a day.
Yeah.
It's there on the table if she wants it.
Yeah.
But she just was like, I don't want it. And she's not had it. And she's like, do you know what? The other day I got offered one, had a sip. It tasted horrible. Wow. It's amazing. Just 2 weeks. So I love that. So my clients do all of that with me for free. And it's lovely. They form really lovely friendships. And at the end, a lot of them have their own businesses or little side hustles or little things. I'm like, look, if you want to share what you do, put it in there. And then they're all connecting with one another. Yeah. You know, community's everything. One of them today was like, I wasn't going to go to the gym, but I saw your workout picture, Chloe. Another person's been at the gym, posted their workout. I'm not going to say boys or girls.
It's like a drive.
Another one. And she was like, oh, all right, I've gone. I've booked in, I'm going. And it's just having a little cheerleading team behind you. So I do all of that for free with my clients. But my clients, I've made beautiful friendships out of this as well. So, and I really stand for them. And I think that's the difference of working with somebody that's, you know, I stand for my clients and I want them to win, but I also want to pay my bills and support my family. I'm so invested in my clients, more than if you just go to a shop or Amazon and you click an order and it arrives. There's no one looking after you.
No.
And what are you getting?
Yeah.
What's the do you even know what's in there?
Yeah.
Because we really have got to question,
because all your
what's
products
in
are very, there's no,
it's just fruit and veg.
No dodgy stuff.
It's a food label. It's a food label. There's a few vitamins we have to declare on the back, but the vitamin A is carrots. Your folic acid is your lemons, because there's not a warning label if pregnant, if breastfeeding. And that's the beauty. I've had probably 30 babies come through the business. It's lovely. A lot of boys last year, all boys, bar one girl. So yeah, that's the lovely thing. You know, both my nieces are capsule babies. Their mum took them all through pregnancy. Freddie, my youngest, I mean, he's been on them since I was 6 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
As soon as if I bottle fed, I would put some of the powders in. As soon as I weaned him, I'd slice. The kids get it free. As part of we've invested over 50 million in that. So it's the largest nutritional study on kids. So up to the age of 21, kids eat free with their adults. So
That's amazing.
Freddie was getting the little chewies, and I'd slice them up and just wean him, put little bits on his tongue. And he's I think he's had antibiotics once. He's 12. Yeah,
That's
100% attendance
amazing.
at school. That's the thing for me. And it's not just that. They eat really well. I make sure they have a lot of water. You know, snacks are limited. Like we eat whole food diet, non-processed and stuff. But they have their products every day and they know why. And so you were asking about Arthur with his skin. He's on fruit, veg and berry now because the berry's amazing for skin health. And he's been on a child dose, so just one a day. And I noticed it suddenly, like about 6 months ago when he was 14, he started to get quite a lot around here. And I just said, right, I think it's time we put you on the adult dose now because actually from 13 you should be on the adult dose. It was about 3 or 4 days. It just cleared beautifully.
Wow.
So I can't say it fixes anything, but the body keeps a score. And when it's nourished properly with fruits, vegetables, water, you can come to life. You breathe life into your body.
And the thing is, we're not doing this for a now thing. We don't want an instant fix. It's for the future, your body for the future. You're looking after your body
Look after your health
now.
when you've got it. Don't wait.
Absolutely.
And
I'm terrible with fruit and veg. Absolutely terrible.
I think a lot of people are,
I'd
Simon.
go
You're
months
not.
and months without having a bit of fruit and veg.
Well, that is extreme.
And it is, I mean,
Honestly.
it is hard to get your, they say 5 a day, don't
Yeah,
they?
but that, I argue, that's not. Oh, look at your cat outside. She looks like
I
a.
don't even own
That's
a cat.
not our cat.
Oh, she looks like a jaguar.
Yes, that's
Beautiful.
the one
That's
down the road.
Gamora. She rules the street.
Oh wow,
Gamora.
brilliant. Yeah, like I don't want to nitpick and get into arguments and things like that, but more and more studies are being done to show what we should be eating daily. When you think about the amount of toxic load we now have compared to 50 years ago, air pollution, water pollution. I mean, look at the Channel 4 documentaries and what's going in our water. I mean, we got shut off at Christmas by South East Water, 14 days, and they had E. coli, salmonella. I mean, oh my gosh, what is in our water? What's in the lotions that we're buying that goes into our skin?
Well,
That's the
everything
big
in it.
organ. It gets absorbed.
Preservatives and everything.
And the pesticides, the herbicides, the heavy metals, the airborne stuff, and
the
then
stuff, yeah.
stress. The stress today compared to 50 years ago, look at the mental health statistics, look at what's happening. So we have so much more to process through our very delicate, precious body. There's so much more for it to do, so much harder work for it to process, that the 5 a day is not. That is so old now. You look at global statistics, most of the world is saying 9 to 10 portions, and the portion is the size of your fist. The Japanese, who are being studied because of how long they live without disease, they're at 17 portions. And Austria are 10 portions, but their portions are so big, it's 18 UK portions a day.
Wow.
That's the
Why
recommendation.
are the Italians so healthy looking, would you say? Is it because it's all natural?
Olive
most of their
oil.
stuff. Not olive oil, you say?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, they get a lot of sunshine, vitamin D. You know, this whole, like,
Because they eat all day long, don't they, as well?
they have a lot of tomatoes in their diet,
Yeah,
though. Lycopenes.
yes,
When you look
yeah.
at lycopenes, our first study that was done on the lycopenes in our capsule was phenomenal.
Really, yeah.
And they have a very tomato-based diet. Tomatoes are red on the plant, the lycopenes, to protect it from sun damage. So the reason they go red is to protect themselves. So when you're having that, you're getting natural anti-cancerous fighting. Like, if you're eating a Mediterranean diet, and it also depends how is your food produced. If, you know, my friend Lena, who's an amazing nutritionist in the team with me, she grew up in Cyprus with lemon trees. And the lemons on her trees were this big, the skins were like that. You would grate them onto everything. You would squeeze the juice onto your spinach to create whole new compounds. You would do all this amazing stuff. Our lemons, they're waxy in a bag with a thing. They're not lemon, not as you're meant to have them. So if you go out and pick something off a tree when it's ready, That is so different to your green banana.
We had a little allotment out here, didn't we? And we took to teach the kids where it comes from, you know.
Nothing
and
better.
We had pumpkins, we had
Carrots.
sweet corn, carrots, potatoes.
But the flavour of that compared to
it was amazing.
Getting from the supermarkets and stuff. And you know it's not sprayed and God knows what. The other problem is we have to feed the nation. There's a lot of us now. So you need everything to be disease resistant, as big as possible, as sweet as possible, as tasty as possible. So it's not...
It's sad
all
that the shape matters now, isn't it? Isn't it sad?
Yeah, the wonky veg is cheaper. I mean, God...
It's just vegetables at the end of the day. You're chopping them up and having... Oh, my gosh.
Well, I saw my grandma yesterday for Mother's Day, 94, nearly 95... And when she talks about the rationing and the war and the physical movement and exercise, but she said, you know, the milk was literally milked the day before. Because it wasn't all treated and stuff now, and you didn't have a fridge, so the food you ate had to be fresh and be eaten very quickly. The bread was baked that morning from the baker, you ate it that day. You know, your fruits and vegetables came from the greengrocer at the top of the road. You'd have to go through and pick all the green fly off, all the slugs and the lettuce. Well, now they're not going to be on there because they're all dead because they ate the lettuce. So we have got a problem. So I don't sit here as a purist saying eat all your fruit and veg. It's the number one thing you've got to do. You've got to look at your breakfast, lunch, your dinner. How are you eating? How much are you eating? Can you get as many fruits and vegetables? Can you reduce your carbs a little bit and increase your protein? Can you know, we focus on food. All my clients get a 50-page recipe guide the minute they start with me of like just quick bish bash bosh recipes for busy people on the go. You know, soak your overnight chia seeds and make a chia seed pudding, or do this homemade granola, or
because that's the thing that everyone is so consumed with stress, busy daily life, and there is no time to actually stop and think, what am I putting in my body? It's the quick fixes that you go down to the shop and grab a smoothie or something like that, which has got sugars in, it's got all these different things in that your body doesn't need.
It's the mad rush of life, isn't it, in general?
We're
where you can't get away now.
We're so busy.
We've got the computers on us all the time. You can't get away. You can't get away.
Our brains are just...
We're literally cyborgs. The only difference is the brain is in our pocket, not in our head.
Yeah,
we are literally.
And
we're so reliant now.
And what's the standard greeting? Like, hey, how you doing? I'm all right. I'm a bit tired. I've been so busy.
Yeah,
that is how everybody. That's my client. It's not. My clients are not unhealthy, massively overweight, smoking, drinking to excess. My clients are really busy, healthy, health conscious parents typically, who are trying everything. They eat well. They're very conscious of what they put on a plate, but there's those niggles. There's the things happening, and they're looking. But the other problem is, and I feel really sorry for people, and I'm not being patronising. When clients come to me, I'm like, I really get it. It's so noisy out there. You've only got to open up your Instagram, and you've got TikTok videos of the next wonder pill. Try this amazing gel. Swallow this. Take this powder. Add this. What do I do? Where do I go? Do I need this? Do I need that? Who do I trust? Where do I go to? And so I just say, like, just cut through the noise. Ultimately, if we could, we'd all be having allotments. We'd be eating all this variety, all this colour every day to nourish our gut.
Time to deal with allotment.
You can't. So this is why I work with fruit and veg, and just bridges the gap between what we should be eating and what we do eat every day in a very busy world. It's very effective. We've got, you know, over 40 published studies to show what it does when a human takes it. And that's the other difference. If somebody says, oh, you should try this, I'm like, okay, show me the label. I just want to check what's in there, because if I can't pronounce something, and if I've got to peel back and get a magnifying glass, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. So I want to read it, and if I don't know what it is, I'll Google it and check. But once I know what's in it and it's all clean and it's natural as it should be, then show me what it does. If I'm going to take it, show me, not borrowed science. We've got vitamin C proven for this. We've got vitamin D proven for that. No, I want to know, if I'm going to take something, what's it actually doing in my body? Am I going to pee it out? Am I going to have orange pee for a day? Or is it actually going in anywhere and 100% absorbed? Because if you're spending money, you want to know you're getting the most of it. And when it's absorbed, well, what's it doing? What's it doing to my heart health? What's it doing to my cells? Is it showing up in a blood test? And that's what we've been doing for 30 years, because you need to know it works. And this is why we can work with, you know, the American Olympic teams, and we sponsored the Olympics in 2012. And, you know, because we need to know that it's going to meet the anti-doping, so that's an NSF certification and informed choice and things like that. We need to know what's on the labels in the product, so we've got all the verifications for that. We need to know that there's no cross-contaminants, heavy metals, pesticides, so we've got all the verification on that. Because what is in most of this stuff? Less than 0.5% of supplements are even tested.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I follow this guy on Instagram, and he is very much the same. He's saying, you're taking this supplement, but what are you actually doing with these supplements? You don't know what they're doing to your body.
And
There's
in isolation, they might be safe.
Yeah.
But what if you mix it? It's like getting into medications. When you start mixing, you're creating different effects on the body. And if you take it too much in isolation, it stresses the body and it's actually causing harm. So when you really get Googling, too much of this vitamin can cause this rate of cancer risk. Because the body, I don't think the body, well, they've done studies like the EPIC heart study where they've isolated antioxidants and tried to give an antioxidant pill. It didn't work. It worked when people took it as fruits and vegetables because the body knows an apple. It's loads of nutrients. I always say to people, my clients, when they're trying to grapple between what's a vitamin and what's whole food, I'm like, think of it as if you... well, you went to a different show last night, didn't you? But say you went to watch the Philharmonic Orchestra in Covent Garden or something in the Opera House or whatever, and you go and they go, bing bong, we're so sorry, everybody's got food poisoning, bar the tambourine. So you're sitting down trying to listen to the William Tell Overture or something, and you've just got this random tambourine, you're like, I don't know what this is. That for me is how I see vitamins in the body. The body's like, what are you, vitamin C? Like, okay, we've got to work out what you are. So it sits in your body on an X-ray for a very long time. The body's like, what are you? And I think it causes a bit of stress for the body trying to isolate it. Whereas if the whole orchestra come in, like the carrot, and in the carrot, you've got your vitamin A, but you've got all the other things, the whole orchestra plays and you're like, oh, it's a carrot. Yeah. They work together in synergy. So it's synergy basically, but all those pieces come together. You know, one of the most densely populated foods, I think, is parsley. It's like an absolute powerhouse of food. And it's got hundreds of nutrients in there. And of course, when I was saying about lemon and spinach, when you take spinach, it's got all this amazing stuff and it's green, so it's very detoxifying for the body. Lemon's amazing with the folate and things like that. When you put them together, they create whole new chemical compounds that do things for aging and cells and things like that. So what we need to be doing is taking as many varieties as possible, as many portions as possible to combat the free radicals and the toxins, but to also drive down the inflammatory response to repair the gut. The people studying the gut are saying 30 varieties a week.
Right.
Wow. So if you're not eating any, gut, and the gut is the ringmaster of the circus.
Now
we're going to talk afterwards, Simon. We're going to get you sorted.
My favourite meal is a roast dinner. I would quite happily have roast dinners every night, different veg, different, everything like that. And I'm not a gravy girl, so I don't even like meat as much, but I'd have loads of veg. I'll sit and pick out all the time. Like Christmas dinner, loads of different veg. And he's like, I don't like the green ones. I don't like this one. And I'm like, I used
to be one of those kids that you put a pea in my mashed potato, I'll find it and I'll be sick and I'll feel sick.
That's probably why you don't like. I mean, I can introduce you to somebody who'll get you over that.
Don't get me wrong, I do eat them now. But if I was preparing my own dinner, you wouldn't really get anything on there like that.
But it's tough because it's the life source of us. You think of there's hundreds of thousands of vitamins. This is why someone's like, I take a good multivit. And I'm like, how many's in there? 22. I'm like, all right, there's like 100 in an apple. There's 400 in an apple. Like, there's hundreds of thousands. And then that's not counting what happens when you mix them together.
Yeah.
So one of the nutritionists, she was saying, you can eat raspberries, you can eat blueberries. But when you put them together, it's not 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 = 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you put blueberries and raspberries and say pomegranates together, you've got whole new compounds, whole new polyphenols that protect your brain and all these amazing things. So we've got to be going back to food. You can't expect to plant up your allotment and not fertilise it and put compost in there. You've got to nourish at the root level.
100%.
And this is what I talk about. Food is everything. It's the building block. I always say, like, we're all just a bag of cells wrapped in a layer of meat. That's all we are. It doesn't matter how big you are, old you are, what colour. It doesn't matter. We're just cells. Those cells are minuscule, but billions, gazillions of them, and they have to thrive. And to thrive, they've got to be fed water, oxygen, food.
Yeah.
After that, then we can manage our stress and we can move. But you can live without moving. Yeah. You can live without light, but you can't live without water, oxygen, and food.
No.
And food is the building block of all cells. And so for me, I'm just acutely aware that with busy lives, and I have an amazing diet, and I'm really food plan for the week. I know what we're eating. Tonight is a big beef casserole with about 8 different veg in it.
We'll be round then.
Yeah, you can come over, slow cooked. But I've got 8 veg in there and I'm really on it. But it's still not enough.
So with something like that, you're saying, yeah, I've got my fruit and veg in it and everything like that. Well, you would still have your carbs, so you could still have your treats of like a roast potato and like your Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah, because you need carbs. People that carbs give you energy. It's just the refined, the white pastas, white bread. We're eating too much of it. But complex carbs, of course you need complex. Otherwise you can't. That's like not putting any petrol in the engine and expecting. I'm just balanced. Like I had a lovely glass of wine yesterday for Mother's Day down the pub, and we had a little plate of cheesy chorizo chips. I know. But it was a treat. It's a really nice treat. The boys loved it. It was lovely. And then I came back and made our lovely veggie, gravy, nice meal. But it's balance for me. Yeah. And
So for someone like me,
it's being sensible.
Someone like me, I wouldn't say I don't eat them. I just don't choose them. Does that make sense? Would your supplement make up for the fact that I don't? Or
you can't say it's in place. Yeah, 100%, because our capsules have no calories in them. So if you just lived on them, you're going to be very thin.
I still eat,
because they've gone through the juicing and drying process. There's not a lot of fibre in there, for example. So I'm all about healthy diet. That's why I do the 30-day program. So some of my clients are like, I'm taking sugar out, and I'm like, amazing. That's an amazing one to take out. They're lowering their alcohol there. For me, it's no point me saying, right, you're never going to drink alcohol. You're never going to have caffeine. You're never going to have sugar again. What do you do when you're on holiday? What do you do when I go to Naples? I'm going to have a pizza and I'm going to love it. But in the morning, I'm going to make sure I'm eating lots of fruit, and I'm going to... It's just balance. Like, you've got to be... It's 80-20 for me, or 70-30. Unfortunately, in the UK, I think we're 30-70. I think we're the wrong way.
Do you calorie count, or do you get people to calorie count? Or
I don't know.
If they're eating the right stuff, then...
No, I mean, luckily, I've been this size for 10 years, ever since being on the products, because they cleanse and detoxify and nourish and support. So my body works, I like to think, quite effectively. I don't calorie count because I just eat my 3 meals, and I'm not a snacker. Don't get me wrong, I love food. I'm happiest when I've got a plate of food in front of me. I'm a real foodie. I love food. But I'm eating... You can't put on too much weight if you're eating kale, carrots and broccoli and peas. It's more the sugars, the ultra-processed foods, the oils. It's all the stuff that just clogs in like a plug, and it clogs us up. It's not great. And it's the carbs and it's the calories that aren't nourishing. I always say, when you're going to eat, are you eating to nourish or are you eating to destroy cells? And that's it for me. I kind of... Yeah, you're going to eat to thrive and nourish.
So someone's going to start on the B plan. Go on.
Well, I was going to say, what sort of products do you offer?
So it's really simple.
So how do they go about it? They go to the B plan, the BE plan.
Yeah, as in be healthy.
.info.
Yep. And it's lovely because we don't have the big catalogue. No. That's the other. It's confusing.
Because I've actually looked on your website as well. I've actually found it quite easy to navigate, and it's literally got your about us, so you can see all about you, what you represent, and then you've got your... Is it like a shopping basket, isn't it? Or your online sort
just
of thing?
Just the main bits you work with,
And you've got all your sort of... This is what we do. This is what we do.
Yeah, and again, this is why it's different. People are like, would this help me with sort of some of my brain fog or maybe my menopause? Or, I work with people with a lot of chronic, like really chronic conditions, life-affecting conditions and stuff. Will it help me with that? And I'm like, look, all nutrition's going to help. But I'm like, they're like, well, what about my hair and nails? I'm like, that's part of your eyes, your heart, your liver. Like, head to toe, you're just... a living thing. So I don't really like, I take this for my hair and nails, I take this for my heart,
you take it
I
for
take
your
this
body.
for bone health. I'm like, but nature gave us everything we need to thrive. We're just doing a great job of destroying it. So I just say, well, you've got fruit and veg, or you've got fruit, veg and berry. You can take a plant-based omega, beautiful, with safflower. I mean, Hippocrates was doing safflower and omegas thousands of years ago. Safflower seeds, sea buckthorn seeds. We go straight to the algae. We don't kill the fish and extract it from the liver. Fish don't make fish oils. It's a really weird, like, I take my omega fish oil. No, they get it from the algae and then we take it from the liver. So we go straight to the algae. So everything we do is plant-based.
You cut out the middle fish,
vegan.
is what you're doing.
You've taken the slogan. Well done. That's what they say. We cut out the middle fish.
Really?
They do.
I just made that up.
Oh, you're a genius.
You need to work for it.
You should get a job in marketing.
Well,
So, we just work with a really lovely plant-based omega, which has got vitamin D, lutein, lycopene, really good. And it's omega's 379. And then we do a clean plant-based protein, just because some people are skipping meals. We developed it for the Olympics in 2012. It's brilliant for blood sugar handling, insulin resistance, metabolic rate. It's got all your amino acids, so you can produce your own collagen. Like, it's a good clean fuel. It's your macros, carbs, proteins, fats. So I had one for breakfast on the way over here because it's quick, it's easy. Yeah. I'm a busy mum, on the go. I just have that. And then my pocket rockets. It's lovely. It's lion's mane. It's rhodiola.
And that's
it's
like a
beautiful.
shot, is it?
B vitamins. It's a powder that you add to water. I've personally found it amazing for anxiety. Rhodiola is beautiful for mood, cognitive functioning. Like people that are struggling with
I write this down.
emotional health. I think it's the only thing that's ever really helped me with when I feel anxious.
You probably can't answer this because everyone's different. But so when do you start feeling like the effects are taking effect?
That's a question that I'd say most clients ask me, and I always say I don't know.
No.
We know within 2 hours it picks up on a blood level.
All right.
We know what it's doing 6 months in. We know what it does. The immune system takes up to about 80 to 100 days to really get going. So you can't expect to take it and a week later you didn't get this, you didn't. But my clients who've been on it for years, they're like, somebody said to me the other day, would it be that, because I've now just done my first year without getting even a sniffle, is that normal? And I said, I've heard that a lot in clients. The longer you're on it, that just everything gets better and better and better. But you get a whole new set of blood basically every sort of 4 months. Your blood cells are born and die. They it's weird. I've had my blood analysis done and they're like lovely round ping pong balls. But as they get a bit knackered, they get a bit wobbly around the edge, you know, like most of us. And they look a bit like a deflated balloon. They get wibbly around the edge. So that's your old blood cell that's going to die off. So we always say take it for 4 months minimum because the brain needs a good 6 months. Bones are a year minimum. So, you know, when you're working with rheumatologists and stuff, the bones, they do take a long time to heal, like at least a year. But we've seen it, anyway, with rheumatologists and amazing results, but 2 years, 3 years, the lacy bits in the middle. And, you know, but it's just in addition to a healthy diet. So you can't be taking this and then eating rubbish, you know, but most of my clients notice, we call it the glow. I had a client the other day said, my husband's just said, your skin looks amazing, darling. And she said, he's never said that to me. And she said, it must be this because I've done nothing different. I haven't changed my creams. And I said, oh yeah, that's the glow. That's what they call it. I've had an amazing doctor say, I always know when I'm speaking at one of your conferences because nobody coughs. In a room of 1,000, nobody coughs.
That's excellent.
So I'd like to say, I mean, I can only speak from my experience. Immune system wise, we haven't had paracetamol in the house or antibiotics for probably 8 years.
Wow.
I'm now allergic to that sort of thing. Paracetamol, ibuprofen. So
we just don't require it. The only reason I keep ibuprofen is, say, if you have a fall over and whack your knee or something and you're inflamed and you know, that sort of thing, I'll keep it for something like that, like an injury.
It's like I've had Botox.
Oh, do you? So you're a bit allergic probably.
Yeah.
Oh, God, itchy lips. Yeah.
He has
itchy lips, that's it. Yeah.
Hives come out.
It makes you want to start going like this.
Okay.
Because it's itching. And then...
Oh, you're allergic then?
Yeah, then
so that's...
Yeah, it's weird. As I've got older, that is. I've been taking ibuprofen, you know, on and off for my whole life.
Yeah. Well, that's a classic sort of reaction, But no, but we know from the clinical study, I know what I can and can't say because obviously, you know, you have to be very compliant. But with our clinical studies, we know that it supports your DNA. It supports the quality of life in people going through chronic conditions. It's brilliant for the immune system. It really supports a healthy immune system. Cardiovascular, we're doing stuff looking at cognitive functioning, brain health, blood levels, it's head to toe. It's lovely. And then, you know, we all get our own stories. I used to get mouth ulcers whenever I was stressed. I used to have a mouthful of them when I was stressed. I've had maybe 2. Flaking, peeling nails. That used to be a peel off, like, you know, all these things, because they're sort of like the last bit, you know, people who, I've had a lot of people with real struggles with their hair. And
it's
of
all
course,
about
if you're
imbalance,
undernourished,
isn't it? It's all in balance.
It's just getting good stuff in. And I think the realism is, today's world, people are knackered. They're tired. They're burnt out. They're overwhelmed. They can't do it all. And I'm like, look, take this, get it for your kids. It's a no-brainer. It's the next best thing. and it's natural, and it's tested, and it's just a lovely support, you know. And I'd rather take that than a little white pill in a thing that's full of bulkers, fillers, untested. I'm very, very sceptical, and I'm very nervous about. I don't take anything else. I know I take a really good vitamin D spray for the winter, and that's
excellent.
That's me.
So what is the core message that you want people to take away from the B plan?
She's just spent an hour saying it.
No, why, not in one sentence. If someone was looking at this now and went past all of this and went, right, what is the core message I need to get through to people who want to try?
Are you getting enough into your diet every day?
Oh,
Fruit and veg and stuff. Are you getting enough?
Sorry, start
On
again. Start again on that.
My core message, Simon, would be, no, if there's the niggle, if you're aware you're not getting enough in your diet, fruits, vegetables, things like that, what can you do? Where else can you go? You want it to be as natural as possible. You want to know that if you're taking something, it's actually going in and it's doing something. And for me, it's about balance. Like, just the core message I'd say is nourish to thrive. Wow. You know, you gotta look after yourself. Your health is the greatest gift. With everything my mum goes through and everything a lot of my clients go through, your health is your greatest gift. When you lose it, you would do anything to get it back. You'd be begging. You'd be praying, even if you're not religious, like, please, I'll do anything. Don't wait to get to that point. Do the good stuff now while you're young, while you're healthy, while you feel well. We live in a world where we wait to get sick and then we go to the doctor and then we're looking at treatment. Don't wait to get sick.
Prevention's always the key.
Prevention is better than cure, always. And so look after yourself, do the good stuff, and keep it simple. You just move, drink water, manage your stress, get in the sun when it's sunny, get a bit of vitamin D in, and put as much fruit and veg on your plate as you can. And if you can't, go to the bplan.info and I'll help you out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And that's even for the kids as well, isn't it?
Up to the age of 21, they eat for free.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, 21, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's awesome. You can send them off to uni.
Yeah.
With their pesto pasta and their baked beans and their capsules.
Have your alcohol, I understand, but take your vitamins as well.
Yeah, it's an absolute no-brainer for that. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So if you've got any questions for Chloe, feel free to write them on the comments and we'll pass them on over to you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me here.
That's all right. That's all right.
Thank you.
It's, if you want to, it's take one of them and ask a question type time. Random stuff.
I know, the last one.
It would, if that was the case and it wasn't random.
If it's the same thing, I'll just crack up.
Oh, well, here's a can of worms. What's one conspiracy theory you secretly think might be true? I mean, where do you...
Yeah.
Get my tinfoil hat out. Here we go. I'd probably say just please don't trust everything you read on Google.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
What a minefield. What a minefield that is. If it makes sense to you and it's like, go with your gut. Your gut can process a gazillion thoughts. Your brain can only process a couple. Always go with your gut. And don't trust everything you read on the internet, please.
Well, it's just like, even just with regards to the weather. You pick your favourite channel, you pick your favourite one on the internet, which has got the warmest, best weather. We'll go with that one for today.
Yeah.
You know.
But like, even my 9-year-old had to come up to me the other day and say, Mum, I was watching this video and blah, 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 blah. And this guy did this, this and this. And I looked at him and went, that's not true. And he went, what do you mean it's not true? I said, AI now and blah, blah. And he's 9 and he's already going, oh, okay. So I don't believe in it. And I'm like, don't really believe
And I think at the bigger stuff with conspiracy, I always say, just find out who's writing it, follow the money. Just look at follow the little trail and see if there's money in there, and there's bound to be a... Yeah.
Excellent. Do you want to do one more, or are you done?
I'm going for the skinny one. Look at this. It's like a daddy long legs, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, right.
Started getting tight with the paper, didn't I?
Yeah. It's getting tough out there with the bills, guys. Weirdest or most irrational fear? Oh, God.
Oh, this is excellent with you. You got
weirdest or most irrational fear?
What's your go on.
I'm proper phobic of balloons. Oh, God.
Oh, my God, you've met someone, Rachel.
Oh, the fear of the pop, the squeaky. Oh, I can't. I
can handle the
If
foil
you started blowing one up now,
I'd have to leave the room.
I would be. I'd be like, oh god! It literally makes me. I'd have to leave.
Next time we get Tink back on.
No.
We had a balloon person on.
Oh,
and
God.
we were pumping them up. I was putting balloons within balloons.
It away.
It's making me.
Yeah, you could literally see me go.
And being a mum at children's birthday parties, when they come, one kid came over going, biting it. I didn't know what to do. I was like, get away, you child of Satan. Get away. I can't.
Do you know what else Rachel doesn't like?
Oh.
Do you know what else Rachel doesn't like?
What?
And if you two are sisters, if you also don't
From
like
another
this,
mister.
right?
What? I don't know what you're going to say. Oh,
with a knife resting in it. Look at her now.
Oh God, no! It hurts. It actually hurts my teeth.
So what we do?
Mine is the scrape on the ceramic on the plate. That gets me.
What we do as a supporting family is if we're in a restaurant,
we
put
all do
all
it.
we put all the knives.
You're resting.
We rest the knives in the teeth, the fingers of the fork.
Oh
Yeah.
God, it hurts.
That's an irrational one.
It's the noise.
It's the noise of it.
I can't even say it.
Blimey.
Oh, it's just horrible. I hate it. But I completely understand with the balloons. Like,
It's the way kids lay on the balloons.
I don't
isn't
mind
it?
the
They're just
foil ones.
fearless
God,
of them.
it's just.
the foil ones I can handle. Yeah,
I was fine as a kid. I used to enjoy popping them. So I don't know where it came. First time I was aware of it was doing the overland in Africa, and it was somebody's birthday. They blew up loads, and they just flew them around the truck, and they kept landing on me, and I was literally stuck on this truck, and I was like, I'm phobic of balloons. I didn't realise, and I was not 20 when I realised.
I think it's the noise. If you pop them, it's the squeakiness, the
I think I must have had one pop in my face, and the elastic hurt me or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's
But
yours?
even
I don't really have a phobia, do I?
I don't know.
Vegetables. Peas.
I just can't be asked to put them on the plate. That's all it is. I will eat most of them.
Do you find that you are? It's sort of like, oh God, I have to eat these. Sort of feel when you have them on your plate.
I'm happy with the meat
and the carbs.
And if I want a meal, I'm thinking of the meat. I'm not thinking of the vegetables. That makes sense.
Texture can be a lot for people, and the weirdest one that most people are scared of, either bananas or mushrooms.
I don't like mushrooms.
I'm not
A lot of
that
people
keen
are
on
anti-mushrooms.
mushrooms, but
Love a
if
mushroom.
you get a steak with a mushroom with it, I'll eat the mushroom.
So I like the
It's got to have a dead animal with it. It's got to have something dead. As long as something dies in it, I'm
I
happy.
quite like a mushroom sauce, like a mushroom tasting thing. But if you gave me a mushroom, I'd be like, no, I can't.
Also, regarding carrots, right? Now, this might be an internet
We
thing.
were wrapping things up, but we're back into
But regarding
mushrooms.
carrots, I heard that carrots are very poisonous years ago, and then we've morphed them into the orange thing that they are today. So you can research that.
I'm not sure about the poison. I know they used to be purple, weren't they? And then the Dutch made them orange, but they were purple.
Yeah, but I heard you couldn't really eat them. That's what I read. So I read that somewhere, and it was probably on Facebook. So it's bound to be true.
So it links in quite nicely to that last question that she had.
Beware of everything. But now I'm going to go Googling, and I'm going to see if there was a big carrot corporation who made a lot of money out of poisonous carrots.
Because I know you
Get them
enough.
onto the orange ones.
I know you enough now to know that you are going to go and research it.
I will. And I'm not even going to ask my friend Chat, because they also tell fibs and don't have it all either, because they just go with whatever Google says.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go and
she's got some homework.
chase that one.
Brilliant. It's lovely having you on.
Thank you
And
so much.
We're going to
Rachel.
speak to you
Thank
straight
you.
after this, because we want to do it with the family.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
we're
Tell
going to start.
everyone-
What? Go on.
I was
what
going to
am I
say,
telling
tell
everyone?
everyone where they can find you again.
Well, I know it.
Yep. So, well, you can find me. You can find me by my name on Facebook as well. So Chloe Myers, the B Plan, and then thebplan.info. Go and have a look and drop a little message on the website, and it will come through to my inbox, and we can say hello.
Perfect. Oh, that's weird.
Oh, you two.
Both did it perfect. Double perfect. I think that's it. And eventually we're going to put a B Plan advert on the podcast for you as well.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. No
All right, then. Thanks everyone for listening. If you still are with us, you may have given up after 45 minutes worth of travel show.
Yeah, I thought we were here for health, but no. Random.
Let's talk about chickens and bottomless cars. Anyway, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Club Awesome, for autistic children and their families, a place where everyone belongs and fun knows no age limit. Put your business in front of 30,000 new customers. with the Hindsight Directory. This A5 full-colour magazine is delivered by Royal Mail to Maidstone, Gravesend, Medway and Bromley, with more areas to come. Visit hindsightdirectory.co.uk. Connect by Tech, business communication experts. Based in Kent, they can reach the entire UK. Whether you want to save money on your business phone systems, mobile phones and devices, internet, or seek cheaper energy bills, they've got you covered. Visit them on connectbytech.co.uk or call them on 01634 565 565.
New Digital, helping businesses build their online presence with web design, SEO, Google Ads and social media. Get 10% off when you quote Cherrywood today. Visit their website at nudigitalera.co.uk.
Bond Carpentry, where precision meets creativity.
From bespoke cupboards to second fix carpentry, garden houses and even the Cherrywood Podcast sign. Call 07738 732 931.
Bond Carpentry, licensed to drill.
This podcast has been brought to you by Snugdubs Campervan Hire at snugdubs.co.uk.
Dimodici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers. Visit their website on dimodiciassociates.com.
Right at Home Medway, providers of safe and trusted quality care for adults in the comfort of their own home. Visit rightathome.co.uk/Medway or call them on 01634 979 000.